is Jeanne Branthover. She is Managing Director at Boyden Global Executive Search, and she joins us on set to help give some insight, a little more context and color to the comments we just heard from Mr. Feinberg this afternoon. Jeanne, welcome.
Thank you.
We were first discussing how fun, in a way, it is to listen to Mr. Feinberg speak. He's so animated and charismatic. What do you think?
Absolutely. Every time I listen to him, I like him more and more and sort of buy into it.
And he's not exactly delivering the best news, yet we're so gravitated toward him.
Well, the way he
that?
delivers it is very, very well done. And he clearly is trying to get people's buy-in, and I think he is.
He is. Okay, so people are buying it, but there's this overriding concern about the talent drain.
Right.
So what do you think about it? Is this the best way to solve the problem of how to get the TARP banks to pay back?
I think he has the hardest job anybody's ever had, and I don't think there's an exact answer or an exact way to do this. I think he's really trying to make it work for getting the money back, which is the #1 thing, and keeping the companies where they can retain their talent. Do I think that is definitely going to happen? I don't think so.
Let me just take a step back. First of all, anything new you heard today?
No, I didn't hear anything new from other speeches I've heard him giving on this.
Are you concerned about the private and public sector's ability to work together on this?
I'm concerned that the companies that don't have TARP money are going to be getting the best talent out there. That's my biggest concern. I think the companies that have to pay back the TARP money have superior talent in them, and to attract them and to keep them could be a challenge right now.
So you run an executive search for Boyden Global. This is your career, and you told me while we were listening that you've been busier than ever. So characterize some of the conversations you're having with clients and also people you're trying to place.
You know, over the last 6 weeks, things have changed drastically. Before that, it was literally we're firing, we're doing nothing. Suddenly, in the last 6 weeks, it's strategizing. We need the best talent. We need to find people. We need leaders. We need people to execute. We fired too many people. We now need to rehire different areas that they're going into now that they weren't in before. So new products, new ideas. So a lot of activity within the executive search world. But also, it is a different world as far as the candidates. Before, people wouldn't listen to us, or they weren't interested in moving because they were very happy or they wanted to be loyal to their firm. Everyone literally listens now because no one thinks they're going to stay with their company forever.
Are private firms more concerned about, you know, we just assume that all of these quote-unquote talented people at the TARP companies are just going to bolt, but are some of the private sector firms a little bit wary of hiring these people? You
know, I think two things are happening. #1 is I don't think everybody's going to bolt, but remember, two things happen. Some people don't really just think about money, and other people are very motivated by money. So that's
what
really,
Feinberg is banking on.
Exactly.
The first point.
And there are people that are going to stay because they're loyal to the firm, because they do believe that they need to pay back the TARP money, and they're not going to leave just because they get a phone call that there's more compensation out there. But on the other hand, I do believe that some of our clients or some companies out there are wanting the best of the best of the best. And in wanting the best of the best of the best, they are saying, did this person have anything to do with the crisis? And did this person or the firm was obviously a firm that had a major problem in their decisions that they made, and was this person part of that? And maybe we're not interested in this person because of being at this firm. We have had that, you know, come up recently.
At the end of the day, how's this all going to sort out? Are all of the people displaced from jobs on Wall Street going to hopefully find employment? Is it going to be just a totally new landscape for the financial industry?
You know, yes and no. Is everybody going to find a job? The answer is no, because jobs have changed and skills have changed. So there are some jobs that just aren't there. The other thing that we're really finding is some people aren't coming back to Wall Street. Some people at very senior levels have decided either I've had enough, I'm retiring, or I've had enough, I'm going to stay home with my kids. So we're going to see a big change in financial services where different people are going to be in play, and people are going to change firms much more and be leaders in different firms than they are today.
So how are you addressing, getting back to the particulars of the Feinberg comp plan, how do you address the particulars when people say, gosh, well, all right, so if I'm going to get $500,000 in cash, but then I'm going to have this stock, for example, what about taxes? Do I have to pay taxes on stock that's going to be paid out over a certain amount of time?
I think there's a huge concern about being paid out over time instead of getting your cash quickly or soon. You know, clearly they're doing that so that they get paid back faster and that they have cash. But the reality of it is the employee has less cash, period. Yes, maybe in the future they're going to have more, but that's a big if. And we all know what you're given and what it may turn out to be could be very different. So do I think people are very concerned, and are they questioning, how do I figure it out? What does it mean tax-wise? What am I going to really be making in 3 to 4 years? The answer is yes. And in the past, we had people in very bad situations when it came to the stock, having stock. If the stock's down when, you were given that stock later in 4 years from now, you're not going to make money. So it's a really big question for people if that's at all the way they would want to be paid.
And once again, we're describing Ken Feinberg's he gave a speech today, some comments, and I'm curious, he tried to make a joke saying Payzar, very unfortunate title. Sounded like Mr. Feinberg was defending himself a lot today.
I think he's trying to make people realize it's a very tough job that he has, which we all realize, that it wasn't something that he necessarily wanted to do. And he doesn't want people to think he's waving a wand and just saying, okay, this is what you have to do. I didn't think about it, and magically the money's going to be paid back, and this is how you do it. He wants us to believe, and I think it is true, that he's worked really hard to try to make this work between the government and the companies. But the reality of it is it the best? We're not going to know. I mean, he's the man deciding, and this is what he's come up with. But I do think in March, when bonuses are all paid out and people start listening to moving, it's really going to he says this is going to help retain talent. We'll see if that's true.
Jeanne Branthover, thank you so much for joining us. Ms. Branthover runs the Boyden Global Executive Search Firm.